Next on Startup, I'm going to Chicago to talk to John, who created Chicago Pizza Tours, an attraction that's fast becoming the new taste of Chicago. Then I'm going to head over to Pittsburgh and visit Marybeth and Lori, who created Yobo, a new clothing line that's setting the trend in youth apparel. And last, we're going to Milwaukee, Wisconsin to talk to Tim, who created the Iron Horse Hotel, a unique concept that has guests riding in from all over America. All of this and more is next on Startup.
The entrepreneurial spirit is alive and well. In Walsh College's business launch entrepreneurial community, consultants provide advice to aspiring business starters. More information available online.
The Chevrolet Volt, an everyday electric car with gas for longer trips. The nature of things to come. Chevrolet, find new roads.
American Express is proud to support Startup and the millions of small businesses that put in the hard work to be open for business in neighborhoods across the country.
My name is Gary Brado, and I'm a documentary filmmaker and an entrepreneur. The economy is in less than perfect shape, and when the jobs go away, there's nothing left to do but get up and get creative. And there are people all over America doing just that. It's estimated that up to 85% of new businesses failed. So I'm going coast to coast to hear the personal stories of the people who beat the odds and started a successful business from the ground up. This is Startup. I'm on South Wabash in Chicago, Illinois, and we're gonna go talk to John, who started Chicago Pizza Tours. Now, when John left his cushy sales job and bought a bus, everyone thought he was crazy. But after only a few years and thousands of pizzas later, John was definitely able to get his piece of the pie. Let's go find out how. The history of bus tours in North America began in the early 20th century when trucks were converted to provide a means for sightseeing within large cities. The largest sightseeing operations began in 1910 as many large bus companies saw an alternative use for their buses. This industry has re-emerged as an alternative to driving and having the ability to learn facts about a city. John took advantage of the Chicago tourism market and was able to apply it to the history of Chicago pizza culture, a subject that he is very familiar with.
My name is Jonathan Porter. I'm the owner of Chicago Pizza Tours, and as far as the mission statement is, I have one, I just can't remember what it is. Our slogan is to see Chicago one slice at a time, though.
What was it that you learned about Chicago or about pizza on this tour?
Really, I'm from Philadelphia, so coming to Chicago I love the energy and just being with people that love pizza and didn't know that there was that many types of pizza. So.
Right.
As you can see in front of you, we got the itineraries. The 4 restaurants that are highlighted are the 4 we're going to go to today. We're going to try a variety of different pizzas today. So is it safe to assume we all like pizza here? Yes. Would it be safer to assume we all love pizza? Or else we probably wouldn't have signed up for a tour that takes us for the next 3 or so hours and makes us eat pizza at 4 different stops.
What is Chicago Pizza Tours?
Started Chicago Pizza Tours about a little over 3 years ago.
So the whole premise of Chicago Pizza Tours was to design a tour based around the most defining food and get people to meet in kind of a central area downtown, get them on the bus and get them out of that downtown area out into the neighborhoods. So they really get a chance to see Chicago, the way that the locals do. And we wanted to showcase different types of pizza so that you get a real flavor of, it was a real foodie tour. I went to school at Eastern Illinois. It was my college that I went to. And after college, moved downtown, with all the friends. What I had is this whole list of college friends that would come down and visit me on the weekends. They were from all different suburbs and all that. And usually whenever they would come down, I would always drag them to 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5 even pizzerias when they would visit.
How did you come to be affiliated with John at Chicago Pizza Tours?
We went to college together.
Wow, small world. Huh?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. We were in a fraternity together.
He had no idea you had a pizza place and you had no idea.
Coincidence.
Wow. Yeah.
He came in, loved our pizza. He said, when you expand, I could do 3 to 4 tours a day. between us and him, just a great relationship, and he's been blowing us up.
I was always, showcasing as much pizza as I could because there were so many just classic places and new ones that were opening up too. So that's really what kind of got me started in with this was showing my college friends, some of the places that I liked. After that, I had my regular 9-to-5 job in sales.
What did you do for a living?
I sold promotional products. So anything you put a corporate logo on, whether it be shirt, hats, pens, awards, all that good stuff. But things were going great with that. I loved it. It's a family business and all that. But sometime around 2008 or so, you just started losing all your customers. And I wasn't really losing them to competitors of mine or anything. I was just, they didn't have the budgets
the bottom
for it.
fell out.
Exactly, yeah. It was the first thing that got cut. I turned to my wife, I said, hey, why don't we take the money that we had saved up all this time, why don't we just go out and buy a bus and build a website and start taking strangers out for pizza? So,
that's hilarious.
Yeah.
What did she say?
Well, she thought I was nuts.
Tourism spending added more than $11.8 billion to Chicago's local economy in 2012.
Taking out a loan was the plan all along.
Okay.
But when you go to a bank and say, listen, I need a loan because I'm going to buy a bus and then I'm going to take people to different pizza restaurants and feed them. So it was a good thing that I had saved my money. My wife and I had saved our money. So we dipped into our personal funds to set up the company you have.
Did you write a business plan?
Of course. Yeah,
You did?
Of course, absolutely.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Even though you borrowed the money from yourself, why did you write a business plan?
That was just one of the first things you do when you're starting a business. I knew that other people were going to look for it too, like insurance companies and the bank. But I think we wrote the business plan, my wife and I, prior to any of that. So.
How integral was the website, and how much has social media really changed the dynamic of your business?
My website is our storefront.
Okay.
So it's all about marketing, getting people to be able to find your website, whether it be through social media or review sites. We're very fortunate that a lot of people that find us like to leave remarks about what they thought about the tour, and other people can find that and say, boy, I never would have heard of something like this.
I really enjoyed the mix of good food and good culture, because I think that's really what's happening in this city in a lot of ways, and you get a taste of both of them on this tour for sure.
The Chicago deep dish pizza was invented by Ike Sewell of Pizzeria Uno, but a 1956 article from the Chicago Daily News asserts that Uno's original pizza chef, Rudy Malnati, developed the recipe. How many of your people are actual Chicago residents that stick to their neighborhood and they don't want to venture outside? How much of that are you getting, people that want to see other parts of the city?
40% were local, and especially in the winter when the colder months came out, people were getting sick of staying in the house all, and they said, you know what? Let's go do this pizza tour thing real quick. That was the thing that surprised me the most when we first started. Everything about this tour was geared towards the tourists.
Say that I'm working a job, underemployed, unemployed, not that happy with what it is that I'm doing in life, but I always had this harebrained crazy idea that I absolutely have no clue about what to do or how to do it. What would you say, what advice would you give me?
You got to get to work. You got to do all the work behind the scenes. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of, while you're still working somewhere else, then you're working nights to figure out all the logistics of whatever it is that you're doing.
Restaurant tours, like I said, from all over the city come here to get their meats and their produce each week. This neighborhood's really blossomed in the past few years. They've been turning old warehouses into loft apartments, and like I said, restaurants been popping up, and so it's become a nice little neighborhood here in just the past few years. It's an estimated 3 million visitors a year will come out to this neighborhood just to take a picture in front of the Harpo Studio sign. So it's just slightly higher than Chicago pizza tours, just slightly.
So who knew that taking people out for pizza would become such a wildly successful business? John's a perfect example of how you can turn a passion into a living, no matter who says your idea is a little bit cheesy. For more information, log on to our website and click the link for Chicago Pizza Tours. I'm on 39th Street in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and we're gonna go talk to Lori and Marybeth, who created Yobo, apparel for little dudes. Now, these two moms had a lot on their plate, with Marybeth being a full-time architect and Lori a marketing manager. But their passion for fashion inspired them to start a new, hip youth clothing line. Let's go talk to them. The children's clothing industry has experienced steady growth over the last 5 years, but the high cost of establishing and maintaining a profitable national brand is a major barrier of entry for new businesses looking for market share. In an industry where the top 4 players account for 67.3% of revenue, Marybeth and Lori, creators of Yobo, are focused on a niche category specific to young boys' apparel, an area that they have found to be lacking throughout big box retailers.
Hi, I'm Marybeth Mahoney.
And I'm Lori Sipes. We're with Yobo Apparel in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
And our mission is to bring cool clothes to little dudes.
So thanks a lot for talking with me today. I want to hear a little bit about both of you guys personally. You guys are both moms.
I have 2 little boys, 4 and 2, and they're wild little toddlers, little men.
My oldest is 8, and then the next is 6. Watching little boys, they're a lot more complex than I think people give them credit for, and they are just have this spirit and energy that is just crazy and scary, and they were my inspiration. The things that they're interested in, the animals, nature, science, army, whatever it is, they were our inspiration. I was shopping for my sons and I just found it really frustrating. I would go into stores and the girls' department was 3 times as big and the boys' department was in the corner and everything was navy and heather gray, and you know, I was like, oh, can we get a different color? And the graphics to me just seemed redundant or silly or way too mature. So one day I just said, I'm just gonna make him some t-shirts. I know George, I have a wholesale account. So I said, why don't I just do this? I knew that there was no way I could move forward if I didn't have someone like George to work with.
Of course, yeah.
This kind of project takes a lot more patience, and I also knew I needed a lot of advice and input from the printer, and not many printers want to deal with these kind of orders. So I came to George and said, hey, I got an idea. You know, are you up for this? And so that's kind of how I presented to him, and you know, he decided to go with it.
If you're doing the whole thing from getting the garments, printing them, and delivering them, that's called custom printing.
Got it.
If someone ships you garments and you're just doing the printing, that's called contract printing, and that's what we do for Marybeth.
Okay, so you're buying all of your stuff.
Yeah, I went to trade shows, sourced, found where we wanted it, and then when I order it, they ship it directly to George.
The U.S. children's apparel and accessory market reached $37 billion in 2012. Where are we right now? What do you do in this room here?
This is basically the hub of the online portion of our business.
Okay.
So this 12 by 15 room is basically inventory, packaging, shipping, labels, everything. Basically, the order comes off the computer, I come in here and I process the order. Everything's pretty bare bones, good old rubber stamp, you know.
It's a very ground up, hands-on business.
Absolutely. We started small in this economy. We just thought it was kind of smart, and we wanted to do as much ourselves to save as much money as we could. So for $10 we got a rubber stamp, $6 got ink, and that does our bags at the retail store. It does the tags for the product. We have cloth bags that we put onesies in and gifts in. So that rubber stamp is like everything.
Wow, the rubber stamp. Who knew?
Who knew?
You're here with kids. How do you do it? Because they have to be coming in the room and yelling and pulling on your shirt and saying, I want this, I want that.
Yeah, well, there was no choice, so we had to locate it here. I do have a door, does not lock.
Time to change that.
Yeah. During the design process, my boys were integral. I would do artwork and they'd come in the room while I was working. And my first instinct was, come on, go, give me 5 more minutes. But then they started looking at it. Oh my gosh, I like that one. I want the coyote, I want the tank. And that's when I realized they are the people that should be critiquing the artwork.
Yeah.
And the themes were based on things that they liked. So it's actually been great being here because having the boys here, I get their feedback and, you know, it's...
You have constant access to your target demographic.
Yeah.
Women-owned businesses account for over 30% of all U.S. businesses. Is a t-shirt company a good idea? Is it profitable? I mean, is it because you know that there's going to be people watching this show that say, God, I always wanted to start a whatever. What would you say to those people?
I would say if you could probably talk to our spouses as to whether or not it's profitable or not. The thing is everybody has an idea, and some of them are really pretty good, but it takes somebody like Marybeth to take the next step to actually take the idea and run with it.
And this is where the rubber meets the road. This is real grassroots, American product.
We worked on it for a year before we launched because it was meeting late at night when the kids are in bed. I'd drive into the city, she'd drive out to me. Sure. And it was, finding this balance. So if we didn't have kids, we probably would have gotten up and going a lot faster.
Right, yeah.
So to all the moms out there that have a career or they're just stay-at-home moms, which is sometimes triple the work, you know?
Yeah.
And they have an idea, they want to do something. I want to hear your advice.
You shouldn't hold off on following your dreams because you can make it work.
Find a way, find time.
Find a way, find time. I mean, you have to stay up late and love coffee maybe a little bit, but.
Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time to talk to me today. I'm really excited to see what you're going to do in the future. I think it's going to be an inspiration to not only just business people around America, but definitely moms that are in a similar situation that just really want to chase their dreams. So thanks for being an inspiration.
Thanks for coming.
So, although being a mom is a full-time job, there's always time in the day to chase your dreams. And you never know. It could end up being a full-time job or even a global success. The end result all depends on you. For more information, log on to our website and click the link for Yobo. I'm on West Florida Street in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and we're gonna go in and talk to Tim Dixon, creator of the Iron Horse Hotel. Now, Tim is a true visionary with a fearless approach to business. We're gonna go in and talk to Tim and find out how he was able to turn iron into gold. A boutique hotel is an establishment with a unique and intimate setting and full-service accommodations. They began appearing in the 1980s in major cities like London, New York, and San Francisco. Tim Dixon, an accomplished contractor, applied his knowledge to create a one-of-a-kind atmosphere with a dual purpose. His hotel is a highly sought-after destination for everyone from business travelers to seasoned bikers.
Hi, my name's Tim Dixon, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm the owner of the Iron Horse Hotel.
There's a level of artistry that is so present here and in the yard outside and with Harley Davidson, the authenticity, the craftsmanship, and Tim has brought all that through here. And so for artists, and we know that Summerfest and all of these folks, it just creates, I think, such a great reputation for Milwaukee, the people that come here and have that kind of experience. And to see Milwaukee through the eyes of Iron Horse is exactly the way you want to do it.
I want to know about you as a person. Tell me your story.
After college, I tried the corporate world.
Okay.
And got fired, I don't know, 3 or 4 times in 6 months. My last job, corporate job, was selling radio time advertisement.
Okay.
And on the way out, after they fired me, the GM's assistant said, "Weren't you a carpenter?" And I said, "I was." She said, "My husband's got a cool carpentry business. Why don't you work for him until you find another job?" And what he did was renovate old buildings.
Awesome.
And started falling in love with these buildings and started to figure out that I could do this.
Tell me about the first one, because it's not easy for everybody to just, and then I bought a building, and then the yada, yada, yada.
Okay, so, all right, the first building was, I was a carpenter working for my old employer.
Okay.
And right across the street was an abandoned duplex, and I called the number, and the bank said it's for sale for X amount, and I tried to buy it, and they wouldn't work with me. So I went to the historic preservation, because it was an old historic building, and got up and talked about Cream City brick, and it's an icon to Milwaukee, and you can't tear down this historic building. They blocked it, and I spent every week and every night renovating this with my own hands. Refinanced it as my own home, and took that money, bought the next one.
So you started with nothing?
Zero.
Practically?
Zero. About 10, 12 years ago, I had an idea of doing a hotel.
Okay.
Another historic building, downtown Milwaukee, don't understand hotels at all. Hired a consultant, spent between everything about 50 grand.
Okay.
Went to the closing, had the consultant come in with the new numbers, because we got to look at new numbers right before we close on the deal. And he said, "It won't work."
Oh no.
And I had to make a decision. I mean, I spent every dime I had. 50 grand was every penny I had. And I made a business decision to walk away.
You paid 50 grand for a lesson, essentially.
Absolutely. It's just an expensive college education.
What was this before?
This was originally the Burger Bedding and Furniture Factory in 1907.
Okay.
And when I bought it, it was document storage. It's just a warehouse. When we started the process, we used the era, 1907, when this building was built, and ran with that. And that's why you see the open filament bulbs and so forth.
Sure.
And it was kind of easy, because one, we're using parts from the building to rebuild it.
Yep.
2, we kind of designed the custom to that era. And then 3, we ran around 4 counties and bought a lot of industrial knickknacks and furniture and so forth, and kind of slammed it together with this whole iron horse, train, motorcycle, industrial, masculine thing.
Explain to people that don't know what
Well, the original iron horse was the train. You know, if you look in the back of this building, train tracks are right back there. So the iron horse started as train, but the modern day iron horse is the motorcycle. So the trains that come by, chug, 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 just nice and slow. No one complains about it, everyone loves it. They're very iconic.
It's part of the ambience, right?
It's cool. I jump out of my truck.
Yep.
And for the first time, I'd already owned it for about probably a year. I look up and look at those capitals. A horse head in the shape of an I and an H.
It does.
Iron horse.
So the logo was already on the building.
Yeah, we didn't even know.
How much does online technology, the advent and necessity of social media, your website, how much of that has played into your business?
100%.
100%.
Hotels independent hotels could not get it done because the big brands had these massive reservation systems.
Yeah.
So when you went to
Book
like
online, pay online,
right,
whatever.
So once social media became and the website and so forth, we went, well, you know, it even the playing field. 72% of all our reservations come from our website.
According to the Guinness Book of World Records, the oldest hotel still in operation is the Hoshi Ryokan in Japan, which opened in 718 AD. When you opened the doors to this place, wasn't a good time in financial history for America, right?
Worst time ever since the Great Depression. Went to open the doors September 16th, 2008.
Wow.
You go open the newspaper.
Yep.
I open the newspaper. Headlines: Lehman Brothers collapsed. Begged with the bankers. Investors walked away. Short on money with their contractors. Called everybody. Communicated everybody. Talked about it. Basically got a buy-in from the contractors to the banks to our employees. Literally, we like to say, we had no working capital. We had no marketing budget. Literally, I'd sell a beer, take the profits, go buy a six-pack. I mean, that's how bad it was.
Wow.
But what happened was the team got behind me and we solidified this culture. And this is really a family business. We just happen to have 125 members. And we love each other, we respect each other, and we have fun together. It's amazing. It's not me who did this hotel. I got the box fitted. It's the team that's here that really brought it together. Find that passion. If you find that passion, then it's not a job anymore. I work 24 hours a 7, and it's not really work. I live this life.
Tim Dixon stripped down an old factory to find the perfect combination of function and design. Maybe that's a metaphor for how we should live our lives. To strip everything down to find the true art and beauty that lies underneath. For more information, log on to our website and click the link for Iron Horse.
So hi, my name is Damon John, and CEO and founder of FUBU, as well as a panelist and investor on Shark Tank. So the advice I give entrepreneurs about branding is, first of all, what is your personal brand? Can you put your personal brand in 2 to 5 words? Because we're all judged by people within the first 30 seconds of meeting us. And people always say, well, what do you mean 2 to 5 words? And I say, well, whether it's TNT, we know drama, TBS, very funny, Apple, think different, Nike, just do it, FUBU, for us, buy us, White Castle's what you crave. Can you put yourself in 2 to 5 words? Because at the end of the day, those 2 to 5 words resonate within your brand. You see, everything we got out of Apple was really Steve Jobs. Everything you got out of FUBU was myself. And people follow you personally. People like to invest in stories, and people like to invest in the people behind the brands. If you see people on Shark Tank that we invest in, some of them have the craziest idea, but they're really great people, and we invest in them. And some of them have the best idea, all buttoned up, making money, and we say, we're going to buy the company, and we're firing you tomorrow because we don't like the person, the brand. So first of all, find out what is your brand, because if you do not know what your personal brand is, then you leave it up to us to interpret it, and then we will interpret it incorrectly. Then all of a sudden you have to come up with your brand identity, your DNA of your brand. So what does your brand stand for? Is it something that is affordable because it's price point? Does it have a higher quality? Do less people have it because it costs more? Is it only available to this certain segment of the market? And you have to be able to describe that to your customer because you're gonna have to deliver on that promise every single day. That's the only reason people are buying the brand.
Next time on Startup, I'm going to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to meet with John, who created Pittsburgh Paragliding, a company that's taken Pittsburgh tourism to new heights. And then we're going to Bucktown in Chicago, Illinois to talk to Brock and Prosper from Vivid Braille, a retail clothing store with a creative twist. And last, we're going to Indianapolis, Indiana to meet with Colin, who invented the Garden Tower Project, a new way of growing your own fresh, organic produce. Be sure to join us next time on Startup. What do you call organic food? What did they call organic food in 1950?
No idea.
Food.
Exactly. Exactly.
American Express is proud to support startup and the millions of small businesses that put in the hard work to be open for business in neighborhoods across the country.
The Chevrolet Volt, an everyday electric car with gas for longer trips. The nature of things to come. Chevrolet, find new roads.
The entrepreneurial spirit is alive and well. In Walsh College's business launch entrepreneurial community, consultants provide advice to aspiring business starters. More information available online